In 2 Chronicles chapter 6, Solomon had just built the temple. And he goes on a discourse describing all of the events that took place on the way to building the temple, from David wanting to build the temple to him having the temple built, and describing the events that took place and the purposes of those events. What does that remind you of? In the wilderness, the people come up to the river Jordan to cross over into the promised land the second time, the time when they do cross over. And Moses goes on a long discourse describing all the events that took place from Egypt all the way up to that point, describing what took place, why they took place, and describing that they are at the goal, the culmination of all that work. That is the book of Deuteronomy, Moses' recounting. So those are two places where that does take place. Let's take a minute and think about where this didn't take place. Can you think of a monumental time in history where it seems that that would take place but didn't? If you're thinking of Calvary, Yeshua dying for us on the cross, then you are on the right track. All of existence hinges on Yeshua's sacrifice for us. Yet we don't see a long discourse, an unpacking of everything that's happened in history up to that point, and describing how this goal is set on that. Why? Why is that? I'm going to say that it's because in the previous two circumstances, the community of people had work that needed to be done. They were very much part of that work. Much like we today take part in many of God's works. We are his hands and his feet. But in that circumstance, it says in Isaiah, I believe it's somewhere between chapter 60 and 63, it talks about Yeshua's saying through Isaiah, I was all alone, and there was nobody from the peoples to help me. I did this on my own strength. That's why he didn't go on a long discourse describing to people all the things that had taken place, why they had taken place, to keep people focused on the goal and the why of what they're about to do in achieving the goal. Yeshua was all alone. There was nobody. He was astonished. There was nobody from the people to help him. Now, what else does this make you think of? Give me a second. I have to check my notes here. Okay, that's right. Okay, so where is the place, maybe you're already thinking it, where is the place where he kind of does do that? Now, at this point, it's not where he's not at a place where he's about to go to the cross. This is afterwards. Where does he do that? He does it on the road to Emmaus. He had told his disciples, wait for me in Jerusalem. Two of them went walking to another town. And he disguises himself so they don't know who he is. And then he unpacks the scriptures, starting from the beginning, describing to them the scriptures, basically explaining to them from the very beginning everything that had taken place in existence up to that point. And in that discussion, I am certain that he described to them in quite clear terms why his death happened and the point of it, and left them feeling very, very excited that they have a part in the work in the future. If they would just be obedient to him, have faith, and continue abiding in his love. They didn't waste any time. Those disciples turned around and they ran back to Jerusalem.